Alright guys, we've got our first release here in terms of the UFO files from the Trump administration. You can see the mystery orb or object here in the frame. A bunch of these are shots of things that they never figured out, so to speak, and a lot of them are just like little shots like that. But this one right here is rather interesting. The shape, the detail, everything about it, you can just look at it. It looks pretty wild here. Doesn't look like the normal UFO. You can see a flash or something happening in the center there, and it's leaving maybe a heat signature as it's floating around. This has got to be the wildest looking one that I've seen thus far. Now, they say they're going to start releasing this stuff in batches. So like every other week or so, there's going to be more information. You've got Tim Burchett saying that this right here is just the beginning. It's pretty much a drop in the bucket, that the holy crap part is still to come. So they're doing a slow rollout of disclosure, if you will, right now in front of everyone's face. This is the very beginning, as they're putting it, the very first phase. It's going to ramp up from here. So somewhere along the lines, we're going to see some pretty wild stuff. Now, remember, all these pastors were just pulled in and they were briefed and told all this stuff about what is about to happen. And some may spin this the way the government wants. Others are obviously not. I watched an interview last night of a guy that was in that meeting, and he believes in Jesus, believes in God. He believes that this whole thing is going to be turned to try to take away from that and try to discredit Jesus in all of that. And he's saying this is where people are going to have to stand strong in their faith. And I put a separate video out on the end time deception, the stage set for this announcement. I will say, though, one of the most interesting things that they told the pastors, and that this other guy said in the interview as well, it's come out of most of them's mouth, is that they confirmed lizard-looking entities. They were told this by these higher-up agents that deal with the government, that, yes, indeed, lizard-looking creatures are involved. So make of it what you will. This is what they're saying right now, right at the gate. Telling you, everything with the fallen, they've been here the entire time. And it looks like big moves are about to go down. Don't forget, Steven Spielberg's about to drop this movie. What's it going to be like? Are they going to have tears sitting in the freaking audience and in theaters across America, like staring at people? Like, is it going to be one of these eerie moments? Because the timing, I mean, it's great.
First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Quadash, and double honors to those great millstones, while learnt his truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is Deception. Pentagon begins release of UFO files. So I like to say Shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So we see right here in this opening clip that the Pentagon has beginning to release these so-called UFO files. And we already know that, you know, that Esau Edom, the modern day so-called white man, he is a master of deceptions and lies and deceit. So one thing about it that we're seeing now, he's getting ready to roll out this so-called these UFOs disclosure. Also, they coming out with a movie. I think I don't know if it's the end of this month or next month, but anyway, we know it's coming out soon. And also, we know about this this Hana virus. Also, we knowing about what's going on over there in the Middle East now. All of a sudden now, this fake UFO invasion or Project Bluebeam. When you get around to look up Project Bluebeam, but we're not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it because we already know they at it again. We're not ignorant of Satan's device. So it says here, this is a report by Dabu 77. The fair use. It says here, it said lizard-like creatures. Said Trump administration drops first batch of UFOs files disclosure deception by pastors. So we're seeing right now they got a lot of pastors, so-called pastors, together to warn them about these so-called UFO encounters or UFO sightings. So we already know that they are the chariots of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? The eyes, the eyes are there in every place. The eyes of the Lord are the angels. You know what I'm saying? They talking about aliens and talking about these lizard-like creatures. So that's what they'll do. Constantly. Bring forth all sorts of confusion and chaos and deceits, this gross darkness. But the Lord's constantly shedding light on all this wickedness. Also, he's making Esau bare. So this man right now, he cannot run, he cannot hide. Whatever he come up with, people already know it's another lie. It's all about deceptions and lie. And this man is the father of it. When you go back to the garden, but it says here on Friday, the Trump administration released the first official tracks of classified UAPs, so unidentified anomalous phenomena, and UFO filed through the new presidential unsealing and reporting system for UAPs encounters. So we'll stop it right there. So we've seen now all of a sudden, we're coming upon a reset. Now, we're talking about could be another possible pandemic, another outbreak. Now, all of a sudden, now they get ready to hit you with this so-called UFO files disclosure. You know what I'm saying? But we already know this man is full of all sorts of deception and lie. They're forgers of lie. They're physician of no value. So we seeing right now, this man is getting ready to constantly roll out his plan. Why do they want to get these pastors together and tell them about that? So you already know they want to control the narrative, like they always try to do. But we already know that this is a bunch of BS. So let's go here and get a few precepts. Then I have a few more videos to bring out. Let's go here Let's go here to the first one in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 24. But we already know what this is all about. Let's go here. It says, so for there shall arise false Hamashiach and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders. It said, insomuch that if it were possible, they will deceive the very elect, but it's not possible, because one thing about it, the Lord always he give us eyes to see, that spiritual eyesight, which in fact is this wisdom, this knowledge, also the Holy Spirit, we be able to discern, what is wicked and what is righteous, and what is, is a lie, and a lot of people are going to get caught up in these webs of deception. And also when you read a little bit further up in Matthew, I think around Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3 or 4, tell you, the Lord said, take heed that no man deceive you. So there's going to be a lot of deceiving going on. But the Lord said the deceiver and the deceive is his, says the Lord. The Lord is not mocked. So that's where we at right now. Let's read this once again in the NLT. It said, for false messiahs, Hamashiachs and false prophets will rise up and perform great signs and wonders so as to deceive, if possible, even Yahweh chosen one, which in fact is the elect, but it's not going to happen, You know what I'm saying? We seeing now this man is bringing everything, So a lot of people gonna get confused, but the Lord said He will give you a strong delusion where you will believe a lie. So let's go here. A lot of people gonna believe this. Oh my God, where do they come from? These are aliens, But this is a bunch of there's no such thing as aliens. What they call so-called aliens are the angels of Yahweh Bashim Abshai, so-called black men in those spacecraft, what they call UFO, which in fact we know them as the chariots of the Most High, are the royal vehicles. Let's go here to Proverbs chapter Proverbs chapter 14. Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 15. Let's drop straight to the point, then we'll go back to the videos and let's see here. It said, a simple believers every word, but the prudent man said, look as well to his going. So right here, we know that people that's pretty much naive, just going with the flow, don't know what time they were living in, and also they don't know pretty much, don't even know who the hell they are, they just seeing what's right before them. They going on with their daily lives. When they see these things, I know a lot of videos that I see. A lot of people see a UFO or what they would call a UFO or UAP. What is that? What the F is this? Oh my, just going, just it's so, they just be just dumbfounded. But one thing about it, they know the simple, believe his every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his doing. I mean, to his going. So prudent man, when you go into where prudent goes into someone that is wise, someone that's redeeming the time. Being what circumspect. And also we know what time that we're living in. So when we see something like this, we already know that we already know this is deception right here at its fullest. But we already know that the simple path, simple believers every word. So when these things come out, a lot of people, we have aliens now. Where are they from? What planet they are from? I'm afraid. What are we going to do? And they're going to come up with a solution. Well, we're going to have to bring you here and put you in this facility and give you this grain of rice. So let's read this once again in Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 15 in NLT. It said, only simpletons believe everything they're told or everything they see. He said, the prudent, which in fact is the wise, carefully consider their steps. So that's one thing about it. We're going to come to trust and believe in Yahweh Shai. We don't care what this man come. We're talking about these, going to give us the clothes. But the men of the Lord, we already know with these, what they're trying to bring out. These UFO, they're talking about their demons, their lizard-like creature, talking about these reptilians and all this crazy shit, but but the Lord said, what is hid in the dark shall come to light. So that's exactly what we're seeing. Let's read it once again. It said, the simple believers every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. So that's exactly what a lot of people, saying, they're going to see these things and they're going to be, get caught up in it. And also, when you get around to it, look up Project Bluebeam. You know what I'm saying? They can shoot an image in the sky and make it look just like a UFO. They already have done that, I think, several years back. Look exactly like a spacecraft in the sky. So so it's gonna be a lot of deception, but what I'm saying? But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, he will not be able to deceive the elect. It won't be possible. Let's go back to the videos.
I believe that there's coming a deception, and I'm going to talk about this. This is very important. And the deception is going to be multi-layered, but one is the UFO deception. I believe that's going to get strong again in the next couple of years. I think they've tried that a few times. I think it's going to get very strong. And I think they're going to say, no, we can't beat these guys this way. Now we've got this external force. And now, just like the pandemic, UFOs. Oh, we got a force out there, and we're already being geared up for it. You see it everywhere in social media. I believe that people are legitimately seeing real things. I think something is really happening, but I think a lot of it's technology. I think a lot of it's graphic deception, meaning just computer-generated deception. Yeah, AI. And then the third one, there's something real happening. But I think it's supernatural forces, dark forces, manifesting these things because they got cooperation with witchcraft, humanity, all that. I believe it would give power to these global-minded people that want to crush what's happening. And nothing brings power like global fear. Boy, so I see that coming.
So pastors across America just got a warning that you need to hear. Government officials pulled them into a secret briefing and told them to prepare for their congregations for something massive. UFO disclosure, crafts not from this planet, materials that defy known science, creatures straight out of a nightmare. And Pastor Perry Stone just went public with what was said behind closed doors, shaking evangelical circles to their core. So why are faith leaders being briefed first? And this is happening right now. And like your pastor may already know more than you do. I want you guys to drop a comment. Do you trust what the government is about to tell us? Because I don't know if I do. Let's get into it. My name is Tom. I'm with the Daily Beltway, and I'm also a White House correspondent. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a follow. It helps us to keep bringing you folks the truth. So Pastor Perry Stone is a well-known Tennessee-based preacher with an international ministry. During a recent teaching session, he revealed something that has sent ripples through the Christian community. A large number of pastors were invited to an undisclosed state to meet with men from the United States government and other officials. These government representatives shared urgent concerns and told the pastors they need to prepare their people for what is coming. And Stone got a text from a friend who attended the meeting, and what he learned is absolutely stunning. Check this out.
I had a friend that sent me a text message. I was in a meeting, a weekend meeting, preaching Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And he said, Perry, can you give me a call? I have some information that has come to my attention. Of course, when a friend of yours does that you know quite well, you have no idea what information they're talking.
I get calls like that all the time. Trump administration, other people that are in other parts of the government, friends that I've got in the DOA or DOW now, I guess I was going to say DOD, Department of War, and other places where it's like, we definitely can't post that. In some cases. Other cases, we wait 5 days or whatever we have to do. So things like this do happen. Everybody's like, oh, that's garbage. No, there are people that are doing things that are like, dude, you wouldn't believe the phone call I just had. Continue.
About. And I'm not going to go into great detail, but there were a large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them a concern that they had. And this particular man, and I'll not name him, and then we may end up doing some teachings with him or having an event at his church. He has a great church. But he said, Perry, what they're about to release, from what we're hearing, there's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft, that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released. And some of it has to do with crafts that have been discovered that are not allegedly a part of our planet, and the materials they're made of are not a part of our planet. Very strange reptilian-looking creatures and other things that almost sound like something out of a sci-fi movie or an Orson Welles book.
You know, the government's getting ready to disclose. I don't think we're ever going to have full disclosure of anything. I think we're going to get probably as close to what they can get away with giving us without giving away the house. At least that's my opinion on it. But that's a pastor relaying direct messages from government insiders to spiritual leaders. Pastors were told that there's going to be a release concerning aliens and unidentified flying object spacecraft. Officials discuss crafts that have been discovered that are not allegedly a part of our planet, made of materials that are from Earth. They also mentioned very strange reptilian-looking creatures and other phenomena that sound like something out of a science fiction movie. I don't know about the reptilian stuff, but I think they're probably the little gray guys, or they probably look just like us, maybe interdimensionals. A lot of my close friends say that there may be demons from another dimension, and that's what we've been seeing.
We just got a little of that, just to let you know that, these lies and deception, you already know that this is something like prop, this already been already just like come from a scene from a movie or something like that. It's just like, we already know all this stuff been scripted, manufactured. You know what I'm saying? Psyops, all sorts of things that they do. That's why we're not ignorant of Satan's device. So now, let's go here and get this one right quick. We're going to get out of here. Let's go here to Job chapter 13. Job chapter 13, we probably get one more, we'll close out. Job chapter 13 and verse 4 said, but ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. So we see it right here that all this man do is lie. You can't believe anything that come out of his mouth. Once his mouth moves, he's telling a lie. This man is a master of deception. Also, he's constantly trying to bring forth, you know what I'm saying, and trying to mislead, bring forth his agenda. We already know what that agenda is. So we're seeing once again, when you get around to look up Project Bluebeam, and this fake alien invasion. Also, they're talking about another pandemic. A lot of things is going on. Why do you need to inform pastors? Because we already know, these so-called pastors are already on their payroll. They're going to speak whatever they tell them to speak. You know what I'm saying? So we already know that what this is all about. A bunch of mumbo jumbo, a bunch of, BS. Once again, let's go to this one here. We get this one when we get out of here. Let's go here to Second Thessalonians chapter 2. We'll start up at verse, let's start up around verse 7. And it reads that for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. So only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out the way. So we know it right now. The mystery of iniquity doeth already work. It says he who now letteth. Who is that? It's talking about Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. We in that short season right now. He's getting ready to be taken out the way. And the mystery of iniquity is just the revised Roman Empire. We seeing it at work right now. All the wickedness, all the lies and the deception, all the gross darkness. It says here, verse, the lawlessness, all sorts of things going on. You know what I'm saying? Just say anything, try to do anything. But he's, the Lord's getting ready to take him out the way very soon. We cannot wait. Verse 8 it says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, the prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So, it said that wicked shall be revealed. We already know who that is, And also the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, the prophets, the one that's kind of exposing this red devil left and right. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord said, look to the brightness of his coming. So when the Lord returned, he said, look to the east, that great fathership. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's going to return, you know what I'm saying, and with great glory and great power, So, we're very close to that time. That's that fathership. They're talking about that disclosure. The Lord going to make a disclosure when he show up. Verse 9 says, even him who is coming is after the workings of Satan with all powers and signs and lying wonders. So this man who come with all powers, signs, and lying wonders, with this technology, this fake alien invasion, you know what I'm saying? These showing you these pictures of these UFOs and the pictures that we looked at, that didn't look like about nothing, So this man is, getting ready to bring forth a lot of things so he can try to lock down everything and put you in a chokehold and make you a petrol slave, If we seeing it now, we are very close, this man's gonna come with these in the NLT it said this man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit powers and signs and miracles. So we know the physical account of the spiritual demon Satan is the so-called white man, So this man is constantly coming with all this pseudo sign, these lies and deceit, but he can't deceive the elect. It said verse 10 it said, and with all the deceivableness of unrighteousness, said in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Verse 11 said, and for this cause the Almighty should send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. So a lot of people, is going to believe that lie. The Lord going to send those delusions, all sorts of trouble will befall them, because they believe, they had pleasures in what unrighteousness. A lot of things is getting ready to happen. A lot of deception, lies. Let's get this one here, verse 10 in the NLT. It says, he will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction. See, because they refuse to love and accept the truth that would save them. We already know who that is, the truth there. They gonna get caught up in this. You know what I'm saying? Let's get verse 12. It said that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasures in unrighteousness. So that's where we at right now. So we seeing now they coming out with these so-called UFO files. You know what I'm saying? With these lies and deception. So all sorts of things is constantly happening. So we get one more. That's why we got to not lean on our own understanding. We got to trust and believe in our true power. Let's go here to Proverbs. We close. They get one more. We close out. Proverbs chapter 3 And we'll start here at verse 5. We'll close out. It said, trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Said, lean not unto thy own understanding. Verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge or confess him, and he shall direct thy path. So the Lord will direct your path, and we keep you on that righteous path. You know, you won't get steered off in all this wickedness, this darkness, all this deception. The Lord is shedding light on it right now. You know, so you know, it said the Lord will direct your path. Verse 7 said, be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. So, you know, pretty much, you know, don't lean on your own understanding, but trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So we seeing now they come with all sorts of things, you know, hitting you with this pandemic. Now they talking about this UFO, talking about some aliens, you know, we're not alone, you know, there's all sorts of things. That's why we got to have that discernment, you know. Let's get one more, something, you know, Lord want me to go here. Let's go here to Malachi. We close out in Malachi. Got to have a discernment, man. You know, a lot of our people can't discern, you know what I'm saying, the signs of the time. And this wickedness that's going on right before our Malachi chapter 3. And we close out here for sure. We can finna get out of here. Let's go here, Malachi chapter 3 and let's go straight to 18. It said, then shall ye return and discernment between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth Yahweh and him that serveth him not. So, you know, this is where we at. We got to be able to know the difference, you know, between righteousness and between wickedness, and also, you know, lies and deception, you know. So this is where we at. You know, these things are coming at a fast pace. We know that our salvation is very close at hand. We're seeing now that more than ever, this man is constantly coming with all sorts of things. This is what you call this order out of chaos, you know, with this action, reaction, solution. So, you know, that's why we got to be, you know, we got to be constantly watching, man. We got to be prayed up. You know, also keep the faith and also fear the Lord, you know, and have this discernment that only comes from who? Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So the title of today's lesson, once again, is Deception. Pentagon begin release of UFO file. So let's give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Ba'ashim Rekak Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom. Shalom.